All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. My name is John, and today I wanted to do an update video on some accessory cup upgrades. So recently, I made a video on like gear progression from beginner to endgame, and I wanted to talk about something a little bit more in detail. And a lot of people have been asking me this as well, because this is one of those things that is not really on the track of gear progression, but it's like upgrades that you should get eventually. So accessory cups, no matter what path you go, will give more stats, and I wanted to talk about this. So I assume if you are looking to upgrade it, you're probably within like the 250 to 290 AP range, just because 250 is like the entry level to be able to actually grind the LVS or NDS spots, and they drop the cups. So before we get into it, I just want to show you like these are what you're going to need. The shards of like the Furious Knight, Drained, and the whatever the blue one is called. And I'll show you places that I've grinded, some tips and tricks to all of you guys to help you get yours more efficiently. And some things are probably better off just buying. So with that said, let's talk about which order and everything to go in. So first of all, no matter what route you go, whether you're going for blue or yellow, blue being the defensive options and yellow being more offensive, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. It really just depends on what you do, and we'll explain why. So, in my opinion, obviously, I like defensive just because I do a little bit of PvPing as well. And I'm at the point in the game where like I can trade off some offense for defensive abilities. And even in PvP, or not PvP, PvE, when I'm grinding, I can usually hit most of the AP caps and brackets and everything just fine. So if I want to grind like, I don't know, the newest high-end grind spot, I think I value survivability a little bit higher, but that also depends on your class as well, but that's just me. Anyway, with that said, Cup of Arid Moonlight, this is the one that goes on your necklace. There's only one option, and obviously it's been out for the longest, so there's a lot sitting on the market. If you are a new player looking to upgrade, I think you should just buy it, because it requires 100 Trace of Forest and 100 Heart of Arid Forests. And you get these by grinding the LVS spots, which are these items right here. I honestly think that, like, if you can grind Oryx and you just enjoy it, you're going to get a lot of them. But if you're just trying to get the easy stat upgrade and go somewhere else, then just buy it. Either way, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I just have a bunch of extras. This is how much I've grinded Oryx back in the day. Also, I've used a lot of extras, way beyond 1,000 shards. And yeah, let's talk about other stuff. So for the necklace slot, it's pretty straightforward. It's only one option, very cheap. Just buy it off the market. If you're looking to make them to sell it, yeah, it's not so great. Like, they will sell, but at the same time, there's just a lot of them. So, I mean, they'll sell, but it's at min price and not instantly. All right, so next, we're going to be talking about the ring slots. So the Lonely Cloud and the Dwindling Starlight, these go on your rings. And what do they do? One is an extra 125 HP, and the other one is an extra 3% crit damage. Now, this one is actually a tricky spot, because crit damage is actually pretty huge, and so is, you know, the HP pool. I personally chose the Lonely Cloud defensive route, because having an extra 250 HP, like 125 times 2, is actually pretty nice to have, because I've definitely grinded high-end spots like Tungred Ruins, and I guess they made some spots easier, but like if you're thinking about doing like Ulakita in the future, or like Crypt or Debo spots, Dekia and everything, sometimes the enemies do chunk your health a lot. So unless you're playing perfectly 100% of the time, the survivability is actually pretty nice. So that's why I have this. I think if you are exclusively PvE, the 3% times 2 crit damage is actually really nice. But I guess it depends on like where you're grinding, what you're doing. But I also think that in PvP, the survivability is nicer because if you don't get one comboed, then obviously there's a chance to win. And also just defensive is nicer, especially in 1v1s. So yeah, that really depends. I don't think there's a right or wrong route once again. I just think it depends on what you do. So if you do PvP and PvE, I think the blue ones are better. If you're strictly PvE, then this one is probably slightly better. So yeah, I guess it depends also like what's on the market on your server. And so the defensive, like I get that on NA at least, people are just straight up glass cannon builds and more damage, kill them before they kill you. I get that. That's a cool mentality. I don't care. But as you can see, people are actually ordering these more often, and the defensive ones are a little bit less relevant. But I also think over time, as gear checks become more of a thing and people get more gear, the like having 250 HP starts to mean a little bit less. But overall, I think it's still pretty good. At least for now, it is anyway. That's why I got 2 of them. The next thing is the Lone Tide and Tragic Nightfall. So these are for your belts. Now this one is a little bit of a, I guess it less of a relevance in what you choose. So this one gives all damage reduction +6. So this one, the Nightfall, gives all AP +3. Now, I think that either option is okay, and I guess it depends on what you want to grind for. But I guess if you are a DR class, the damage reduction would be nicer because if you're evasion, chances are it's going to make it less of a minimal difference. And if you're evasion, you're trading off AP already for more survivability. So getting the 3 extra AP back will probably help you more effectively than 3 DR would. But depends on your class, your build. And so, yeah, I guess it just depends. I don't think there's a real noticeable difference. I guess if you're, once again, PvE exclusive, then 3 AP is nice. But I just like the DR. Survivability is always nice for me. So that's why I chose that. But more people always go the offensive route, which is understandable. So if you want to go to yellow cups, chances are you're going to have to either get lucky ordering one, or you're going to have to grind it out yourself. And then finally, we have the Cup of Earth Sorrows, which is only one option. These go on your earring slots, and then they just give 3 AP time each, so 3 times 2. So yeah, that's how I chose. I chose the defensive routes for that one, and then the other 2 slots are you only have one choice. So after this, I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to go about grinding all of this and what I did. So as we all know, in the Elvia spots, every spot drops something different. So like if you want the Drain Knights or the Tearful Knights and everything. So let me go down the list of the ones in Serendia that actually dropped this. So the best spots for the red one is definitely Ore Camp. Or I think Ore Camp is generally a good spot for both, or actually just XP, silver, and, you know, the red shards if you need it. So if you can grind Elvia Orcs, if you're probably around a 280 area, and I will say though that the DP recommendation of 340, you could do it then, but it might feel a little sketch because if you're grinding Orcs, the goal is to basically group everything up, and then if you get CC'd or knocked down, and there are like 8 of them piling on you, it does actually chunk your health. So I'd probably work on the DP a little bit. So like if you're very close to 280, you're good to go. But I would probably say 350 DP and up. So especially, I know this is one thing that a lot of people have asked me recently, is like when to start converting into disto earrings, because you're going to be losing like at least 8, or I guess if you're at 10 it's 8, and if you're pen it's 9 to 10 extra DP. So I think if you can do or camp like relatively easily without any trouble, and you don't feel like you're gonna die at all, then that's when you should start upgrading into distos. But it's one of those things where you feel like you actually need it. Okay, so let's see. Let's filter by Serendia only then. Okay, so Ultra Imps. I actually did not grind Ultra Imps for the blue cups. These blue cups are the spots that they drop more frequently, but you don't really get a lot of silver an hour. You're basically grinding there for the shards, and they recommend a party of 2 here. I think it's whatever. You're getting more trash loot if you grind in a group, but a lot of the spots are grinding solo. Brigadi Den, if you are going for the yellow shards, I do believe this is the best in the slot for, like, if you just want shards, you'll get the most an hour at Brigadi Den, but the silver is a trade-off. Bloody Monastery is actually a pretty decent combination. So obviously, if you're looking at here, this is 240, but Bloody Monastery is 280. I think I averaged about like 8 to 12, like, I don't know, 10, I guess. 10 shards an hour here. However, it does have a higher requirement to entry, but I do believe this is a very solid silver spot, and you can get a mix of these. You get less shards here than Brigadi, but you make more silver. And then also, if you're going for the lunar necklace, these are what it is. You just combine these moon split nails into a lunar. Plus, you get the crimson bells, which is basically a wave defense. And then, like, you use the bell, and then enemies just come hoarding out at you, and then you just basically kill them, get more loot, more silver an hour. So this is what I chose. Bloody Monastery for the yellow ones. I think if you were exclusively going for trade night shards, Brigadi is significantly better. Castle Ruins is a group grind spot. I personally don't recommend it anymore. I used to, but like getting a group of 3, you're better off just like, I don't know, trying orc camps if you can. But if not, and this is the only other place, then I guess it is what it is. So I would rather recommend waiting till orc camps for the red ones, but obviously the difference between 250 and 280 is a little bit of a jump. Yeah, it's one of those things where I've grinded it, but I think you do actually need more than 250, and like the DP is probably fine, but like the hardest part would be getting a group of 3. So orc camp, obviously very high silver, very high XP an hour, assuming you were going from like 61 to 64. That's pretty good. After 65 to just like tanks. But yeah, that's what it is. Elvia orcs, very good spot all the way up into the 300s. Then you move somewhere else. Swamp Fogans and Swamp Nagas. These spots are, you know, I guess you get the Tearful Knights here. I think I get around 10-ish an hour, maybe more nowadays. But the silver an hour, not so great. Probably like 300 to 500 mil an hour, but you get these. If you're grinding for it, it is what it is. And Swamp Nagas, I personally don't really like this spot. It's just the rotations are too big. And then you're just moving around more than you're actually killing. So yeah, that's that. So let me show you some spots that I've chosen. So for the Swamp Nagas down here, this is actually the Marnie realm. So if you do a big circle, like let's say you park your horse at the node in the center of this island right here, right? And then you do a big circle around this area. So the respawn time is actually pretty good. So you would start like here, do a loop around here, maybe hit a few over here, and then come back, do that, and then everything is respawned again. And if you're in the Marnie realm, it's basically one big circle. Now, if you're doing Bloody Monastery, and you've ever watched any of my seasonal videos, it's the same rotation. Basically, you do a little circle around the monastery, you know, the little church thingy inside. You go in, then do the loop around, follow the path, very easy. And then Orc Camp is... There's a lot of different rotations for Orc Camp. I would honestly just recommend doing the Marnie realm for Orc Camp, simply because it's... I think it's a lot better than a lot of other rotations. Plus, I think this is a contested spot. A lot of people grind there. It's a very good spot. So, if you can do a Marnie realm every hour, it's awesome. And I think that's about it. Let me just let me just make sure to double check. So yeah, just to recap, if you're looking for yellow shards exclusively and you don't care about silver as much, Brigadi Den is the way to go. If you want a lot of silver and accessories and the cups as well, but less of them, Bloody Monastery is good for yellow. If you're going for red, Orc Camp is like high everything, so it's a very good spot in general. And what is it? Fogans right here for the blue ones is the 3 spots I just showed you. So like here, here, and Orc Camps. But yeah, aside from that, I don't know what the market looks like on your server, but generally most people go glass cannon builds. And I think the hardest one people have to pick is between 3% crit damage or 125 on the ring slots. But the belt slot is less relevant because like all DR versus AP. If you already meet all the brackets and then you're just like going above the 100%, if you know like AP caps and brackets and everything, you should know where you're at, and it also depends on what your gear is at. But here's how I would recommend going about ordering and gearing it, because some are easier to get than the others. So first of all, buy the cup of Arid Moonlight for your necklace. Very easy, one choice. Chances are for the earring slots, you're gonna have to grind these out for yourself because there's a lot of orders and I guess no one really wants to do it. The Drain Night Shards are the, I believe, the blue ones. No one likes grinding the blue ones. And yeah, this is only one option and you need 2 of them, so you got to get it. And then after that, I think realistically, as the game gets harder, well, not harder, but like they increase like the grind spots and everything, the AP for the Nightfall Cup might actually be more relevant. But as of right now, I like the DR, so I chose defensive. And then this one, just personal preference. But as in a nutshell, if you do any sort of PvP, I do believe the defensive blue cups are slightly better. If you are strictly PvE, the yellow ones are better. But ultimately, it really just depends on your playstyle. There's no right or wrong answer. Just pick which one ever you think is nicer. And then the cup glows yellow or blue. That's cool. But that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave in the comments. Join the Discord. And if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Would love to see you guys come back. So hit that subscribe button or drop a quick like and everything. I usually make videos for new players, returning players, and people who are just trying to get better at this game. So if you can just find like all the videos on the channel, hopefully there's something for you. And if you don't, just drop in the comments and I'll give you a link or just join the Discord and all that stuff. So with that said, thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.